Hello and welcome to more StarCraft 2. We're casting replays from the Afreeca's Champions Cup, which happened a week and a half ago now. And we've been working our way through the Group C, which was the group of death in this tournament. As in the bottom left side, this is the losers elimination match. Our bottom left blue Zerg from Kaiser Gaming is Reynor. His opponent in the upper right, the red Protoss player, is from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, of course, and this is herO. This is a best of 3 elimination match then. So this group, if you're not aware, if you didn't catch the rest of the games, StarCraft, MaxPax, herO, and Reynor. Reynor loses out to MaxPax initially, herO loses out to StarCraft, and then MaxPax and StarCraft play in the winners match. This is the elimination match, and the loser of this is out. The winner of this gets to play on in the decided match, which we'll be casting on a little bit as well. So kind of a crazy group, obviously, super stacked. Players getting eliminated in the round of 16 who in any other group would be pretty much shoo-ins for the round of 8 already. So yeah, just a straight up ridiculous group. And like I said, it comes down to an elimination match here between herO and Reynor. And we're going to start this off on a waterfall with the spawning pool coming down from the hatch gas and pool. Again, that's set up initially. We do see over here the probe getting ready to expand. In general, from this group, we've already seen the Protoss players. We saw MaxPax as well, obviously in some PvZ, but we've seen herO be very adventurous in his PvZ matchup. He's been playing Claves, he's playing fast Stargates, Void Rays. He's been playing things you just don't usually see in the meta as much right now, so yeah, pretty cool in that regard as a couple of drones nibble and chase that probe off over to the side. Actually are going to be able to push that back for the moment, so that gets chased out of here. And this hatchery on the front from Reynor is coming up and online. It's going to be finishing up in just a couple of moments as our probe heads down to the low ground and out onto the map. Obviously, probe wants to try and stay as active as possible. Just wants to try and keep up information for as long as you possibly can. Feelings will start to chase it away, but nothing too crazy or ridiculous here. As it's going to be seen our feelings going after that probe, wanting to go catch up with it. What we are seeing is the Twilight Council building from herO. That is then our first indicator of what he wants to do in this game. And Glaives has just been very, very popular. So we're going to be seeing a little bit of that right now. And yeah, like I say, it's just been kind of a wild group of strategies in this matchup. And I think that's fascinating. You know, you get some of the very best Protoss players in the world coming out into PvZ, which for the last month and a half or so has really been quite figured out in terms of builds. Some form of Oracle pressure into, you know, Blink Stalkers. And then these guys are coming into this group against the very best Zergs in the world, and they're like, hey, Glaives. Multiple different kinds of Glaives. We've seen 6-gate Glaives, we've seen this is going to be a 4-gate Glaives, but no Robo. We've seen 3-gate Glaives with no Robo or delayed Robo into the Disruptor drop. There has been a huge variety of different ways of playing this out, and that is obviously aiding a lot when it comes to actually making this a really kind of viable style, because then the Zerg players don't know which variation it is every single time. They've got to look for very minor differences, and if they're expecting one version of this, but it actually hits 20 seconds later, then they could have used those 20 seconds to drone. At this level, you end up heavily punished for that. So this kind of style is being kind of absolutely boosted by the fact that we've been seeing people just able to successfully and repeatedly, I suppose, successfully and repeatedly just kind of do different things. So yeah, it's kind of fascinating. It's very exciting in my eyes, and excited to see what we do continue to see here as our Stalker pushing this Overlord away. It was trying to get some info on them gases, and seeing no gases there obviously gives you a bit of a tell as Reynor as to whether or not, you know, this is super committed or how many, you know, gates he should be expecting, etc. He starts up a Spore Crawler here just in case of a Dark Shrine follow-up as well. Worst case, you know, sometimes against these Adepts you can use that to zone the Prism out too, so you do have multiple uses there. As our Adepts continue down to the south of the map, and the Queens will get here pretty quickly. Start picking their way through those Adepts. The Adepts do shade by, the Fuelings continue to take some nibbles, and the Adepts continue to do a little bit of damage. A couple of the drones going down as well. Rework is killed. And our Adepts just shading in over here. Lings, Roaches, all being picked off. There goes one Roach, and now going to start working our way through another. There goes number 2. And 3 drones picked off so far, and these Roaches still trying to come on forward. Still trying to put up a little bit of a fight. Adepts will shade by once again. The Queens and the Roaches do bully these Adepts all the way into the corner. That will be those final few units going down. And that, for the moment, will settle this aggression. Well, 7 drones killed is not game-ending. It's definitely less damage than we've seen sometimes throughout this, or these events. As our RoboBay comes up in the background for herO, just going to be seeing the Adepts continue to shade out down through the center of the map to the bottom. And a couple of Roaches, drones, extracted as well. Continuing up as well, here's our Adepts will hit the front. Deal just a little bit of chip damage to those Queens. Now our Adepts shading up this left-hand side zone. They go over here, looking to try and grab a few different drones if at all possible. Let's see if they can get any further damage done. They shade into the main base. This could be where you find trouble. The Roaches are chasing. The Adepts had slowed down by the Sim City and the narrow choke point of this hatchery and the spawning pool. I mean, this is another 7 drones, so we are losing a lot of Adepts, but we are definitely doing damage. And look at this now, 13 workers dead. This is adding up. All of these mineral lines are pulling away as well and not mining fluently throughout this, and that's obviously as well an additional issue. Adept shade back across, and those drones continue to be chased out of here. I mean, this is a problem for Reynor. He's losing so much mining time, and the follow-up on this is going to be a Disruptor play. He's going to go into Blink as well, so you can just play Blink Disruptors. The Disruptors are great because if you get overwhelmed by Roaches on the counterattack, you then can have a much more serious kind of defense to this than you might usually. And now as you're losing all map control, the Adepts are going to get rid of the creep as well, and it's just one thing after the other, which is continuing to push herO into a massive lead here in this first game against Reynor. And yeah, Reynor, I wouldn't even say he wasn't prepared for it. 7 drones initially isn't bad. Maybe not prepared for the second wave. But obviously, once you get behind chasing these Adept shades down, it only gets worse for you from there on out. And that's is truly what's kind of happened now is, yeah, herO with a worker lead is going to continue to harass with the Adepts. He's been keeping Reynor so busy as well. He's pretty much removed the threat of a counterattack from Reynor. Until now, maybe it's the first time Reynor could realistically go across the map. But now he's got 2 Disruptors, so he's already going to be feeling much safer. Blink is halfway done, so we've already made massive progress there as well. Quite frankly, this is just an incredible position for herO. These Adept builds, they just keep on doing very, very well. You know... Sorry, bless me, just sneezing. I actually almost wonder as well. We've obviously got Atlanta coming up. I really wonder what PvZ is going to look like in Atlanta. It does feel like the Zergs are going to have to be way more on top of these Adept builds because they've been causing trouble, obviously, in this event. The last week and a half since this event, we've seen a lot of Adept builds causing trouble in the games. It's just been kind of a crazy time to be a Zerg against these Protoss players, and man, I feel like ZvP is going to be a rough matchup for them in Atlanta. I mean, I guess good news is Max practice from that. But I assume herO is, and yeah, I think herO in his PvZ is going to be looking absolutely deadly. He did lose to Serral in this tournament, not saying he's unbeatable or so, but the variety of builds he has at his expenditure right now, it's just absolutely brutal, right? I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Game is called, and herO is going to pick up game 1 of this best of 3, and that is going to be starting us off this elimination match with a herO advantage. Top right-hand side of the map, our blue Zerg player from Kaiser Gaming. This is Reynor. Up against, in the bottom left-hand side, our red Protoss player, we have herO. Map number 2, herO takes the first with the glaives, and again, 4-gate glaives. Robo was late, and continues with the attack after the first round of Adepts. Do you think, again, it's just so difficult to know exactly how much the Protoss is committing to nowadays. It's very, very difficult to see exactly the variation coming your way. And like you say, the first attack losing 7 drones, I think is perfectly acceptable. That's manageable. You kill off a bunch of Adepts, that's it, it gets shut down. You need to then shut down the next wave of that without any further issue, though, right? So yeah, a little bit, it's just tough. I actually really am glad I don't play Zerg right now. ZvP I always found quite a frustrating matchup when I did play some Zerg, and I feel like right now I'd be finding it like an absolute, like, I feel like I would find it maddening. It's like, oh my god, it's like, how many adepts will you build? Wait, it's a Stargate? And Stargate doesn't just mean Oracle into like Blink anymore, it can mean again 100 different things. And you can even sometimes see Stargate into Glaives still. A bit of good old Starglaves, right? Yeah, Cybercore coming up on the side of herO. Again, that started over here. As we do have a hatch, gas pool, everything settling into play for the moment as our Nexus comes on the natural. And away we go. Gonna drop the assimilator up onto the main base as well. So just gonna get that started. So go double gas here, and of course, waiting for our tech choice to be made with our Twilight, our Cybercore finishing soon. Will that be a Twilight again? Data Scene really is much more of a macro map that suggests a little bit more the likelihood of a Stargate. It doesn't have to be, though, right? There's absolutely no guarantee that that's the way it should go or has to go, or anything along those lines. So yeah, Adept still coming through, the Warp Gate still coming up, as one Adept of herO begins to move through the middle of the map. So on a little bit of a journey, our Adept will see what it can get up to, see if it can indeed cause some trouble throughout these early stages. Coming straight up past the Overlord, Battery is on its way, and the Adept just taps that once as it walks on by into the natural. Going to find a chance to get rid of a Creep Tumor here. Grabs it, is now removed up into the main base, and again, just being annoying. Even getting a Creep Tumor early can slow you down a little bit as a Zerg, slow down your transition of Queen down to the third base, right? Remove that mobility. I see an extra gate before we see tech structures here as well. There's something else you can see, right? Just a couple of extra gateways, build adepts from there, sometimes then go into later glaives, but you have a lot of adepts early. Again, just another option. Sometimes people go double Stargate from this. And the more I talk, the more I kind of talk myself into realizing just how big the meta kind of pool of builds is right now in this matchup. It really is quite something. Which is really awesome as well. I mean, can you guys remember like 6 months ago, whatever, when we just had Sky Toss every game? Like, my goodness, how good is it to be free from that kind of, you know, from that point in time now? Incredible, no? Absolutely incredible. There's our link speed just over halfway done. The Queens and the Lings continue out a drone on the natural, and you can be seen our Nexus of herO building up on the third base as well. Springing that through as a couple of Lings and the Queens will come chasing in. The Adepts continue to try and shade out of here and get some drones as they do so. Wasn't the most successful of Adepts. He does get one, though, that didn't become a sport in time. And now just seeing this Adept is escaping out through the center, pulling back down to the bottom left. Adepts of herO will shade forward themselves and go straight into these Zerglings. Those are not going to have the best of times. The Zerglings, that is. Obviously, the Adepts put on some pressure. Twilight and Forge behind this would suggest this is a Blink follow-up, although more than going into like a late Glaives or anything. So just an Adept-focused, a bit of harassment to begin with. And look at all the units you're forcing while you're then teching up behind this, taking your third base. You know, Reynor has to respect these Adepts. He doesn't know how many more there's going to be. Perhaps he doesn't know if Glaives is going to kick in here in a few seconds. These are all just questions he's left asking. He has no map control left on the map, right? So he has no further information. And yeah, I mean, Ling Roach being made. Is he actually just going to send it? It feels like he might. A lot of Roaches being made. A lot more than I think he needs based on what he's seen so far. He adds a drone or two after this. We'll see if these Roaches move across the map at all, even just sort of attempt some pressure, right? I mean, if it is just Adepts that don't have an upgrade, if you strike before these next set of upgrades come into play, this Protoss army should, in theory, still be pretty weak and then still pretty vulnerable. Don't be completely all in with it, right? Get some drones, be saturated on your bases, but, you know, nothing wrong with a bit of pressure across the map, a bit of a check to see if there is indeed something you can get done. Here come our Roaches. Our Adepts will shade. The Stalker just warping in as well. And Roaches gets straight forward here. The Ling is going to come in from the other side. Super Battery pops pretty much immediately. Oh my goodness, we don't have the damage to get rid of the first Adept there. Finally going to start getting through it as the probes are pulled as well. How many will we lose here? Remember that Reynor was drawn a bit behind this. He's not on a worker lead yet. He'll need a couple more kills to get there. Now as his drones finish, he will start to take that advantage. Can he get out with these Roaches? If he could get out with these Roaches, then incredible, because he's obviously taken a worker lead off the back of this, and he would stay alive with a lot of units that will help him into the next stage of the game. Losing these Roaches just means he may have to replace them a little bit. That would be a little bit expensive or frustrating, as the Roaches just about managed to shake their way back into the upper side, and a couple of Adepts will come through, fading into the natural. I'm trying to go after another few drones. There goes one Adept, and here goes another, so both of those will drop. Just going to be seeing more Stalkers of herO around the top side, ready to go for a little bit of a push into 12 o'clock here. And I mean, straight away there goes an Overlord. That gets knocked down immediately. Big Queen's pulled back towards the upper right as well. Stalkers continue to get rid of just a couple different creep tumors at the moment. And just going to be having their reinforcements continue to rally up now. This is the scary part as well. Once herO gets these Stalkers out, you know he's good enough to kind of keep aggressive throughout. The Lings had a surround. They almost got the Immortal, but the Prism saved it. So all those Lings go down for what? Not really anything at all. I mean, a bit of damage on the Immortal, don't get me wrong. It's low HP now. But once its shields recover, it's still a bulky, useful unit. And with Micro, it should, of course, still be kept alive too. So to get rid of that many Lings is, right now, definitely kind of, you know, damage that is felt for Reynor, whereas the damage on the Immortal isn't really felt for herO just yet, because he's going to get himself a couple of snipes as he blinks back safely. And just going to be playing from here, keeping the Prism well out of reach of those Ravages as well. Last thing he wants is for Reynor to get a grab on his reinforcement line. Keep that Prism safe, and then, yeah, just, I mean, you don't even need to be too aggressive here. He's eventually going to poke through this hatchery. I think that's almost a given at this stage. I don't think there's any real question mark about it. There it goes. Disruptor shows up, turns to the last second, hit a couple of Roaches on the top side. Things coming from the other side. The Immortal is going to go down. Not close enough to the Prism to be of use, but I mean, the Disruptor's kept alive. At this point, you have to imagine that may be the most important part of this. And the Stalkers continue forward. There goes a Spore Crawler moving our way in. Spine Crawler will take some damage as well as the Queens and the Roaches. I mean, the Roaches are all stuck behind the Queens, so it's not a good fight for Reynor as well. In that regard, Queens are running out of transfusions. We're not going to have much healing left, and they're about to take a beating. Three of them hit by that Disruptor, 2 died. And herO is now scraping his way into a supply lead. Obviously, Reynor had a supply lead, but a lot of that was Roaches, and Roaches inflating the supply. I think it was always going to be dangerous here for Reynor, but this is becoming a whole new level of dangerous, as he might just be out of the tournament if he loses this 0-2, and he may well be on his way to that, as Disruptor's going to push the Roach Ravager back. This is horrible for Reynor, because he's really hot, you know, horribly zoned. Oh no, the Ravagers get hit by a Disruptor as well. I don't think there's any way Reynor has what he needs.